Everybody, and welcome to March 2020 Plan With Me video. I'm so excited that it's March. The sun is starting to be up for a lot longer. There are little blossoms starting to form on some of the plants outside and little buds, and there's a warmth in the sunshine that I'm really loving. So March is a very exciting time for me and lots of exciting events happening. For one, it's my birthday, so I'm super excited about that. But also it marks a 1-year anniversary for my husband and I in Ireland. About a year ago we made the move to come to Ireland, to leave South Africa and move to a new country, and we've been loving it. It's been some ups and downs and lots of highlights, some lowlights as expected, but it's really been a lovely time. So I thought for March it would be great to draw inspiration from our new home. And instead of going the St. Patrick's Day, 4-leaf clover, shamrock, dancing leprechaun route, I thought I'd draw inspiration from a slightly more of an ancient art form within the country, and that's the Celtic art. So I really drew inspiration from a little chapel right here in the town where I lived, Dunleary, called the Oratory. And basically this nun went in and painted a war memorial, and she painted it in the art form of this ancient Celtic art. It's literally like walking into a page from the Book of Kells. While I will never have the artistic abilities as Sister Contessa did, I thought I would draw inspiration and just do some Celtic knots as the theme for this month. So I went in and did the knots in pencil. I will link to the YouTube channel where I learned how to do these knots, because I had never done a knot before. They seem quite complicated and complex with all the crisscrossing, and it's actually quite simple when you get to learn the technique and the little tricks behind how they put these together. So after doing the knots, I just went through with a grey brush pen to put in some shadows, and this is just at the intersecting lines, just to give the Celtic knot a bit of dimension and let it stand out a bit. I then went through with a black pen and filled in the background just to help accentuate the knot and help it stand out. I think the result is pretty great. I always like having a page in my bullet journal that gives me the goals and focus for the month. Just helps establish and keep me on track with everything that I want to achieve. And that's what this page is. So I just go in and create a little border using different knots, Celtic knot styles. My font is inspired from a font that I found online, a Celtic font, and I think it works really, really well with this theme. If you watched my last Plan With Me video, you'll know that I struggled a lot with bleed through from the markers I was using, and this month my husband very kindly gifted me 2 brush pens, black and grey brush pen, which has really solved that problem for me in terms of bleed through, and I find I've been able to do some really cool spreads this month and really enjoyed colouring in different bits and pieces of the different spreads. So this spread you see me outlining here with a little knot border, this is going to be my Year of Firsts page. So just a reflection of our time in Dublin, what we've done. There's been so many firsts and so many highlights that I really just wanted a place to reflect on that. I think sometimes we get so stuck in the day-to-day and the difficulty of things that it's nice to take a step back and just reflect on what we've achieved, what we've seen, lots of different things, lots of amazing things. And I think this is a great way to just reflect on that. So my plan for this page is to take a look through my photos from the last year and just print out some of those that really highlight and show those different things that I should be grateful for and those firsts that we experienced, like our first snow and first time living abroad, etc. My next page is something which I'm carrying over from last month, which really worked really well, and that's the budget page. It was the first time that we did a budget and it worked really well for us, so we are definitely sticking with it this month. And because I come back to this page so much, I really wanted to do something that was quite exciting. I drew inspiration of this from a dragon that I saw from the Book of Kells, and while it's definitely not as intricate and not as colourful, it definitely draws inspiration from there. And I didn't quite like the dragons too much initially. I had contemplated maybe just taking them out and doing a plain old knot. But as I went through and I added the different elements and eventually went and added the fire coming out of the dragon's mouths, I think it really worked really well. And I'm very pleased with this page. I think it's definitely one of my favorites. I outlined everything on these pages with a 0.4 fine liner, and I really thought the inside of the fire popped really nicely when I went over it with a much finer pen. And I will link in below what pens I used and all the stationery that I used in case anybody is interested. And now moving on to the monthly calendar. I am doing the exact same layout that I did in my February Plan With Me video, where I have the calendar and weeklies at the bottom of the pages, and I cut out a Dutch door at the top so that I always have access to my calendar and to my habits at the top right. Right about this time, as I was completing my calendar, I realized I had not put enough lines in for all the days of the month. So what I landed up doing was just combining the 1st of March and the 8th of March together in that top right square on Sunday, which works fine. I didn't really have a lot to do on the 1st of March anyway, so that's all good. But definitely planning is key, and check your work before you put it in pen. So what I do with these spreads is, because I do not have a lot of things to do during the week, I don't use my journal for daily work tasks. I use it for personal tasks only, so I probably have 1 or 2 things to do in a day. I don't have a full weekly spread. I just have a week on a page, and then I split up my tasks according to the days if I need to. And that's why I really like having an interesting page to look at each week. I get quite frustrated if my pages all are really boring, and because I don't need a lot of space, it can get quite boring. So I really like the idea of having the cut out part on top, so that as I flip through the bottom and when I go through the final flip through, you'll see what I mean. I always have access to something that looks really pretty and keeps me inspired and not bored through the weeks. So here I am just adding in my different columns for week 1 and week 2. You'll see that I put the days of the week on the left and I put my tasks on the right, and then essentially I just put a little dot next to the days that the task is being assigned to. So here you'll see I did not plan out my Celtic Knot very well and had to erase it and redo it. I just thought I would zoom in and show you how I go about doing that with the little dots. So you draw little dots in a grid, and essentially you're just joining up the spaces between the dotted grids. and that's how it works. But when you get into it and when you start working through it, it's actually really, really easy and comes together really quickly as well. It's a lot of fun and quite therapeutic going through all the knots and connecting all the dots together. So on the top right of these spreads is where I like to have my habit tracker. This way I can access it every single day of the month. I don't need to flip through pages. It was a little bit complicated with the shapes of these this month, but I finally found a way to make them work. Even though they do touch each other and overlap a little bit, it looks okay. I then go through and add in my shadows like I did on all the other pages with that grey brush pen. Just helps give a bit of dimension to the different elements, and I added a drop shadow to those habit tracker boxes. And the final spread for March is going to be my month in review spread. So I really like the idea of having a place to come at the end of the month and just reflect on goals that have been achieved or not achieved, what was working and what didn't work. And of course, if I'm doing a Celtic Knot theme, that would not be complete without a Celtic cross. They are just so beautiful, and I really enjoyed putting this one together. In the end, it came out so well, and I'm so happy with it. The fact that March is the month of Lent also helps just ground myself through my Lenten plans and just keep reminding me of why and what I am doing for Lent. And that's it for my March plan with me. As I flip through the different pages, I am so happy with the way this turned out. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I did debate on whether I should add some color, and I was very undecided, but I really think it works very, very well. I'm very excited to fill in my year first page and to really reflect on a year in a new country with so many new things. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button at the bottom of the video, and please consider subscribing to my channel as I release more videos of the same. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. you.